Hello and welcome to the Courage and Confidence Festival. My name is Peace Mitchell and I'm co-founder of Osmonpreneur, the Women's Business School and Women Changing the World Press. I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land that I live and work on, the Mami people of North Queensland. And I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging right across Australia and the Torres Strait. Today, I'm so excited. We are launching our brand new book, Courage and Confidence. This book has been written by 24 incredible Australian businesswomen, and all royalties from the sale of this book go to providing scholarships for the Women's Business School for marginalised women to be able to attend the programs. The Women's Business School has two courses, Ignite, which is for pre-launch and early stage founders, and Accelerate, which is for established businesses who are ready to do big things. Both of those programs go for 6 months and they combine a structured educational program with group coaching, one-on-one mentoring, and a private mastermind group as well. The links to buy Courage and Confidence are below in the comments, and as well as that, information about the Women's Business School scholarship applications are there as well. Scholarship closes soon, so if you want to be part of the 2022 cohort, I encourage you to apply. So today I'm super excited to introduce our next presenter to you, where we'll be hearing from Justine Martin, one of the co-authors of Courage and Confidence. Please join me on stage, Justine.
Hi, Peace.
Hi, Justine. It's wonderful to have you here with me today. How are you?
I'm great. A little bit nervous today, actually. It's also exciting.
It is. It's a lot of fun. I have been enjoying every minute of this festival, just having the opportunity to hear from these incredible women who are our fellow co-authors and being inspired and motivated by their stories and their advice and their expertise. So it's so much fun being here. And yeah, I'm excited to have you here. So Justine, for people who haven't met you before, I'd love you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you and who you are and what you do.
Oh, where do I start, Peace? So I live in Geelong, Victoria. I'm a mum of 2 and I'm a grandma of 6. And they're all my pride and joys. I reinvented myself 10, 11 years ago. I was told I'd never be able to work again by a medical professional. And I do have a little video that will play and it'll show more of that story. And I listened to him for a period of time and then thought, what's my purpose in life? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? And started going down that dark hole and dug myself out of it and found new purpose in life. So I thought I was in my dream job. I wasn't. This is definitely my dream job now. And it's not a job. It's fun. I love it each and every day. And it's expanding at a rapid rate. I mean, I think I'm up to 4.5 businesses at the moment. So, never tell that word can't. My mum used to say when I was a child, I'd say, I can't do that. And she goes, there's no such word as can't. And that's my philosophy now is, there is no such word as can't. Don't listen to someone else's false beliefs. You know what you're capable of, they don't. And, I live a very positive life most of the time. I do have the odd sad day, but, I pick myself up and I keep moving on. So I'm known as the Queen of Resilience. And that's because I've faced quite a lot of adversities, particularly over the last 10 years, but throughout my whole life as well. But that's given me insight into how I can help other people. And, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 11 years ago. And because I am so positive, people wanted to know the key. And that's how Resilience Mindset was born, is, to help as many people as I possibly can overcome the adversities in their life. So that's a snippet on me.
Well, I'm so honoured to have you as part of our book, and I'm really looking forward to your presentation today. So I will let you take it away now, and we'll take questions at the end. So if you're watching on the live stream, I would love you to let us know in the comments that you're here, let us know where you're tuning in from, and if you have any questions for Justine along the way, post them in the comments as we go, and at the end of the session, if we have time, we'll do a Q&A and answer those questions. All right, over to you, Justine.
Thanks, Peace. So I'm just going to play a small video that is on my website, but it'll give you a little bit of an insight into the last 10 years of what I've been through. Hi, I'm Justine Martin. I'm an empowerment speaker. I'm passionate about inspiring others to gain resilience and to overcome adversity. Using my knowledge and story of surviving 3 heart surgeries, melanoma, lymphoma, leukemia, all while coping with MS. Let me help you overcome the fears, the failures and the setbacks that you're struggling with in your life. I would love you to have a tour around my website, justinemartin.com.au. And if you can like and follow me on social media at Justine Martin Speaker, let my journey help inspire you to overcome your adversities. So welcome back. So that's a little bit about me. That video does need updating because there's been a lot more that's happened through there. So my neurologist told me 10 years ago that I'd never be able to work again. And as you can see by this slide here, this is Justine Martin Corporation, which just still blows me away that it has evolved to this extent. So today we're going to be focusing on resilience mindset with the 10 top tips, but I also run Just Art, which is a business in itself. I do art wellness classes for people with disabilities. I have a gallery out at Cafe Zoo in Drysdale in Victoria. I do commission work. I'm a multi-award winning artist. I've written a children's book and illustrated it, and that all falls under that umbrella. I have Van Gogh decals where my artwork is actually on large decals that go on caravans, camper vans, mobility scooters, windows, wherever you want to put them, bling up your world. I've just recently launched a Resilience Mindset podcast, and I do finger painting for grown-ups. I've co-authored 3 books. So the Courage and Confidence book that we're here today for, but I do have another one for purchase on my website called Release the Shackles, and it's a totally different story than what's in Courage and Confidence. I've got another one coming out in May called Raw, Finding Your Strength Within. And as I've just mentioned, I've written and illustrated a children's book, same but different, and that's all on equality, and that'll be out through my next business venture called Morpheus Publishing. So I'm a keynote speaker. I talk about resilience. I talk about my story, and I strongly believe that my story is someone else's survival guide. I'm also an MS ambassador, and I've been in this role now for around about 7 years. So teaching society about hidden disabilities, because I don't look disabled, doesn't mean that I'm not disabled. So just education on what living with a disability is actually like doesn't mean that your world has to stop. It just means it takes on a different meaning, and you have to modify it and definitely not give up. So today we're going to talk about the 10 top tips to resilience. Now, when I've been through everything that I have, everyone kept asking me what the secrets were, and I really didn't know at that stage. I've just been me, but I sat down and I put a lot of thought into what makes me so positive all the time, how I bounce back from the adversities that I'm actually facing, and what all the secrets are. So I've put together this pack and I'm going to run through it today with you, but it will also be available for you to download for free. And Pieces put the links into the chat, and I also show it on a slide later on. So to be resilient means the capacity to recover quickly from the difficulties, to show toughness, how you use your coping mechanisms. Do you have enough coping mechanisms in place that you can bounce back quickly from the adversity that you're facing? So the first one that we're going to talk about is self-care. Now, have you heard about the oxygen theory? It's when you go on an aeroplane and the hostess says to you, please put your oxygen mask on first before you help someone else. And that's the same with self-care. You need to look after yourself first. And I know us as mums put our needs right down the bottom of the list. And then we become quite bitter, spiteful, angry, lose interest in things because our needs aren't being met first. It is extremely important to put you up the top, and it doesn't have to cost much money. It could mean just hopping in a bath, locking the door, locking the kids away, get someone else to look after them, nice glass of wine if that's what you like. Me, it's sparkling water. Put some nice relaxing music on, read a book, lay in the bath, and take care of your needs. I like to go and get my nails done. I get my hair done. They're all self-care needs that I like to do. Keep up on your personal hygiene. Take time on yourself, especially if you're working from home at the moment. By working at home, we tend to, well, I know that I have in the past, just concentrate on work and forget about the self-care. So you have to find that balance there. And when you do, life does take on a better meaning. And it makes me happier when my needs are being met, and therefore everyone else around me is happier because of that. Learning. Now, when I was diagnosed in 2010 and had to stop work, I found it extremely difficult to learn new things. I actually have cognitive damage, so I have brain damage in certain areas of my brain. I can't count properly anymore. I'm better than what I was 10 years ago, but I still have difficulty with it. I have difficulty learning new things, but that doesn't mean that I can't learn new things. It just takes a little bit longer, and I've accepted that, and I ask for help. So have you ever wanted to learn something and put it off? I mean, I know that I'd always wanted to learn how to paint and thought I'll do that one day when I retire, maybe when I'm 60, 70, 80 or 90. And then when I was forced into retirement, when my neurologist told me I couldn't work anymore, I thought, well, I've always wanted to learn how to paint. I'll find a hobby to fill my time. And off I went. Well, it took me about 4 months to actually walk through the art studio door, and then I took to it like a duck to water. And ever since then, I've been a sponge, just trying to learn new things. Maybe there's things on your bucket list, like writing a book, reading a book, watching a documentary, making a documentary, writing poetry, listening to poetry or reading poetry, learning a new musical instrument. Is there something that you've got in the back of your mind that you think, I'll get around to that one day, and you haven't done it? So I always found the University of YouTube a really great place and a great starting point on learning things. And there's lots of free courses online as well. I know Deakin Uni do some short free courses. So money's not the option. You've just got to find some time. Routines. Now, routines are extremely important as a coping mechanism for building resilience. My first thing that I do every morning when I get out of bed is I make that bed. So I'm not tempted to get back into bed, but it's also, if I don't accomplish anything else in that day, at least I've accomplished one thing. And there's a really good YouTube video to watch all about Make Your Bed by Admiral William. Can't remember his last name, but it is on the downloadable sheets, which you can access for free. So things like go to bed at the same time each day, making sure you're getting enough sleep, eat, clean up the kitchen before going to bed, eat at the dinner table, set an alarm to wake up every day. Have your meals at approximately the same time every day. So building those routines. And if you're facing adversity, it's extremely important to continue those routines, to be familiar with it, and that will definitely help. Connecting to the earth. Now, because of our modern day shoes, we all have rubber sole shoes and we don't ground anymore. We don't connect back to nature like we used to. We have an insulation. So therefore our body's carrying a lot of electricity because we're not earthing out. So some of the things that you can do to connect back to the earth is just take your shoes off and go and stand on the grass. You don't have to stand there for 5 to 10 minutes. My backyard when I bought my house was a concrete jungle. And I had 2 meters by 1 meter strip, because I put a tiny, tiny backyard, pulled up with the gravel and put some turf down. And I just go out there and stand on that grass. And that's my little bit of getting back to nature during the middle of the day if I can't get to the park or I can't get to the beach. I mean, how nice is it to go to a park and just lay on the grass, take your shoes off and just lay there, or to go to the beach and run your feet through the sand. And what you're actually doing is you're grounding out and you're getting back to nature. And it doesn't take long to do that, but you really need to make it a priority. I mean, during lockdown, I don't know if you noticed that I could hear more birds outside because there were less cars driving up and down the street. So to go back into nature and to listen to the sounds and to ground yourself will make a huge difference, especially if it's quite chaotic in your head and your body's hurting. Grounding, connecting to the earth is 100% guaranteed to make you feel better. You can do things like joining a community garden, getting hands in the soil. If you don't have a garden at home, maybe that's something that you can put in, grow your own veggies or grow your own fruit, put some fruit trees in, or you can put them in pots. They don't actually have to be in the ground. You can do that as well. Install a watering system. That makes it easy to water, because if, like me, I have some memory issues and I forget to water the plants, so I've put in a watering system. So there's a few things on connecting to the earth. Hobbies. Have you got a hobby? It's important to have an interest outside of work and outside of the family and the day-to-day routines. I noticed in lockdown that there were a lot of people that were so busy in their lives that when they stopped and they were forced to stay at home, they had nothing to do but watch TV. So hobbies can become a form of meditation. And there's lots of different hobbies, and they come in all shapes and forms. So you might like to learn a new language, or learn origami, or pick up photography, or build a kite, play board games. There's a bit of a craze at the moment with diamond art, knitting or crocheting like our mums and grandmas all did, and the generations before. There's something about creating a piece of artwork, or a jumper, or a beanie, or a model plane, and it just it does ground you, but you get a sense of achievement as well. And in your downtime, being productive in a hobby definitely makes you feel a lot better and will help build that resilience as well. If you're facing an adversity, it's great to have a hobby to take your mind off things as well and just lose yourself for the time that you're doing it. I am a person that finds it extremely hard to sit in a corner and meditate. But for me to create a piece of artwork, I can lose myself 4 or 5 hours easily in the studio in creating that art. And I know that when I'm feeling a little bit tense and the world seems to be coming in on me, that I haven't created a piece of art in a while, and it's to go back into the studio and create something. And it doesn't have to be of exhibition quality. You just get your feelings down on that canvas. Movement. We move so much less in modern day times than what our forefathers did. I mean, have a look at how many remote controls you have in your own house. I think I counted one day there was about 15 in mine when my kids were growing up. Remote controls to the TV, to the garage. We have automated washing machines, dishwashers. So the convenience of modern day lifestyle is actually making us all lazy, and we're losing muscle mass each and every year that we're not doing much. So I hear all the time, I don't have time to go and exercise, or, I can't do that and I can't do that. And as I said in my introduction, there's no such word as can't. You're just choosing not to. You find a way around it. So there's incidental exercise that we can count as movement. So your housework, cleaning the windows, ironing, gardening, vacuuming, doing the shopping. Shopping's a personal favorite of mine. Window shopping, just walking in the shops now that they're all open, decluttering your home, or, cleaning up your garden. And then there's also your conventional exercises. So walking, jogging, running, bike riding, skateboarding, roller skating, basketball, kicking the ball in the park with your kids, so grounding at the same time. Your body weight exercises, resistance bands, going to the gym, playing tennis, playing cricket, whatever sport of choice you actually have. So there's plenty to do in movement. Do it with a friend. It often makes it easier, or having an exercise buddy where you become accountable as well for that. Fuel your body. That old saying that you are what you eat? Well, that's definitely true. I mean, are you drinking enough water? You should be drinking at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. So not other liquids, just water. Keep a food diary. Are you aware of what you're actually eating? Are you aware of what the food's actually doing to you? Are you a moody person? If you're a moody person, back off the sugar. It would definitely be spiking your moods up and down. People ask me all the time how I do so much, how I find the energy with having MS and the cancers and everything. It's because I eat clean. I eat very few foods that are secondary foods, so that have been processed. I just eat fruit, veggies, meat, no dairy. And I drink lots of water. I'm allergic to caffeine, so I don't even have caffeine to pep me up through the day. And you can live without it. Let me tell you this now. If you're going to the fridge and you're standing there and you don't know what you want to eat, chances are you're not even hungry. You just need a glass of water and walk away for 10 minutes and go and find something to do. Take control of your weight if you are overweight at the moment. Find out why you're overweight. Are you cushioning from the outside world? Are you eating rubbish food? That will definitely have an impact on your mood and your energy. I used to be 46 kilos heavier than what I am now, and I did lose it naturally. It took a very long time to do, but I changed my lifestyle in doing that, and I changed my world for the better in doing that. So there's a few good tips on there. And again, you can download this pack at the end. Fueling your mind. Now, at the moment, over the last couple of years, there's been a whole heap of stuff coming through on social media that isn't always matching your values. You don't have to watch it. You might have friends that you don't like what they're saying on socials. Just unfollow them. You don't have to unfriend them. Just unfollow them, and therefore, they're not going to be in your face every day. I've not watched the news in over 2.5 years. People tell me what's happening in the world, and then I can go and do my research into it. So I'm controlling what comes into my mind. I watch I listen to podcasts. I watch lots of TEDx talks on positivity, lots of webinars on positivity, and I fuel my mind with positive things. I'm even careful about what movies I watch on Netflix or Binge or Stan or Disney when I get time to watch those, that they're positive movies as well. I try and avoid as much negativity that will be fueling my mind, because then, your subconscious is taking all of that in. You are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. So if you're hanging around with people that are negative all the time, even if it's family, put boundaries on the conversation. I've had conversations with people, and it's like, we're not going to talk about COVID today. We're going to talk about something else. Or we're not going to talk about this. We're going to talk happy thoughts. What exciting things have been happening in your life? And steer the conversation that way. Have you ever come home from visiting a relative or a friend and you just feel drained because they've been negative? You can control that by setting your boundaries and fueling your mind with those positive thoughts, reading affirmations, positive affirmations every day. And there's lots and lots of other things that you can do. There's good brain food as well. So, oily fish, seeds and nuts, berries and other fruits, dark chocolate if you are actually fortunate enough to eat chocolate. I'm allergic to it, believe it or not. And there's so many other things that, can have a positive effect on your brain. Decluttering. Have you got that drawer that's got everything shoved into it? Have you got an office that needs cleaning out? Have you got a kitchen cupboard that needs decluttering? When was the last time you decluttered your whole house? Just do it room by room. If it's overwhelming, just start with one drawer at a time. There are professionals that can help you declutter, and they'll come in and they'll help you, and you'll label everything and you know where things are. So when you're facing an adversity, it's easier to find something. It's easier to get your hands on it, and it's one less thing that you have to worry about. Label things. Put things in boxes and label them. You can buy cheap labelers, and it makes it so much easier to find things and makes your life a little bit more time rich. Now, to me, time is the most precious commodity on the planet. You can't buy it, reuse it, sell it, or borrow it. So be careful on what you spend it on and who you spend it with. So if I'm looking for the sticky tape, I know that it's in the second drawer in the studio on the right-hand side, rather than where did I put that the last time. I can walk in there, grab it straight away, then spend half an hour of precious time trying to find it. So decluttering. Have you got an A list and a B list of what needs to be done immediately and then what needs on the secondary list? Are you doing too many B things rather than A things? Decluttering your mind. That's really important. Write things in a journal. Write down all your list of everything that you need to do, and it's on a piece of paper, and then go through and do that A list and that B list. And you'll find that once you've got it all out of your mind and you've decluttered it, you can focus on one task at a time rather than trying to keep it all in there. I keep a trusted system of a planner, and as a resilience consultant, I teach people on the trusted system and how to be more productive. So I am offering a discovery call, a free half-hour discovery call. Feel free to book into that, and we can have a bit of a chat on how to get more time in your life, about planning, using a trusted system, and how you get so much done. People are always amazed by how much I'm able to do each and every day, even being a disabled person. And it's because I work in my trusted system and I have all these coping mechanisms put in place. And I tell you what, you will make more money when doing it. And when you read my chapter in the Courage and Confidence book, I actually go through in my chapter on things like this as well. So they are my 10 top tips, which I've only just skimmed over today. And like I said, you can book in a discovery call, or you can also follow my podcast, listen to my podcast on Resilience Mindset Podcast. And each and every week I interview 2 people on how they've overcome their adversities and what coping mechanisms they actually have in place. And it's such an inspirational, informative podcast with some amazing people in there, and the adversities that they've faced and how they've overcome them it's just amazing. And I'm blown away in each episode that I record. So here are the links for getting the free copy of today's 10 top tips, including there's 3 bonuses in there, one being the discovery call with me, and there's a couple of extra ones in there. My Linktree address is here, which is Linktree/Justine Martin Corporation. And my website, I have a couple of different websites, but JustineMartin.com will get you to the other ones as well. There's the link to the Calendly book in. And if you've got any questions now, I'm more than happy to answer them. So,
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
There you go. Apple Watch talking to me. And it's talking to me again.
Oh, thank you so much, Justine, for that presentation. That was amazing. So much gold in there. Now, I'd love to encourage everybody who is watching on the live stream to share your questions for Justine in the comments, and we've got some time for Q&A. So if you have a question, please let us know and we will ask those. But Justine, one of the things I want to talk about is the magic of hobbies and being creative. I think it's something that we just dismiss, and we're like, in our busy lives, oh, I don't have time for that. But actually there's a lot of value in creating time for creativity. Can you tell us a bit more about the benefits of being creative and discovering a hobby?
I wish I'd taken it up like 25 years ago, because I'd be 25 years further down my pathway than what I am now, because my hobby turned into a business. But it's the number one thing in self-care, as far as I'm concerned. Well, hygiene first probably, but hobbies take you to another place, developing your skills. And the skills that you learn in the hobby that you're doing, you can take into other areas in your life as well. And you make connections with other people. Most hobbies, a lot of hobbies you do in group things. So you can go to an art class, or you can go to a yoga class, or you can, your sport might be your hobby. But it is important as well to have hobbies that you can do in the home, because we've seen what happened in lockdown when people didn't have a hobby, and art supply sales went through the roof. And people discovered all of a sudden that they could create things that they didn't know that they had. And maybe they were told during school, primary school or high school, that they were no good at drawing, and or that they couldn't. I hear all the time, I can't draw a straight line, and I do finger painting for grown-ups, so I take you back to painting with your fingers, and all the time I hear, I can't draw a straight line, I can't paint, I can't this, and I'm like, yes, you can. You definitely can. Someone else has said something to you along the lines, don't listen to them. You can do that, and you'll find a whole new world out there, a whole different lot of people to network with when you pick up hobbies. What's your hobby?
Absolutely. I actually learned how to do macrame just before the pandemic in 2020. And then we had a really short lockdown in Queensland. It only went for a few weeks. But during that time, I made a new macrame wall hanging every week. And I just had them hanging all around the house. And if you look back at old Zoom recordings I did during that time, I've got all these beautiful macrame wall hangings behind me.
Can I tell you a story about macrame?
Yes.
So back in the 70s when macrame was huge, my grandma, my auntie Lynn, who does all my graphic designs, and my mum had a party plan business in the 70s on macrame. So my auntie and my nana used to make the most amazing, not just wall hangings, but sculptures and pot plants and belts and you name it, was macrame. And my mum used to, so they were in New South Wales and my mum was in Victoria, and she used to go and do party plan, selling all the macrame with the plants and the pots and everything to go with it. And my brother and I, we would have only been about 5 and 6 at the time, used to go with her, and she'd make us sit in the car the whole time. Highly legal now. The whole time while she was in there selling macrame. So when macrame came back, I had a bit of a giggle, and I still have to this day macrame. My macrame lampshade that my nana made for me, which with the matching pot plant holder in this colour, mind you, which is pretty special, and a couple of macrame belts. So that hobby that they started again went into a business, but is also an heirloom for myself. My daughter's got some as well. So don't underestimate doing hobbies and creating pieces. And my son's hobby, which was drone racing, he was doing drone racing when he was in the army, and he became the captain of the Australian drone army racing team. And then he was medically discharged, and he started a nice little business in his garage of doing drone supplies, which was fantastic. He outgrew that business last year and now has a shop front and warehouse in Townsville, and now doing 3D printing as well and making his own drone parts, and is known all around the world and is a world champion pilot. So that hobby, that was a hobby that he just did to fill up some time, and a sport as well, grew. So don't underestimate the value of your hobbies.
Absolutely.
Care as well. So
now I love when you said it doesn't have to be exhibition quality. And, a lot of the art, and because I also do a bit of drawing and things like that, it's just for me, and it's not perfect. And I actually prefer it because it's not perfect, because it reminds me that we don't have to be perfect, and it's okay. And you can do something or make something just for the fun and the joy and the creativity of creating something. I think that was really
but then the more that you do piece over the years that you're doing, I mean, I look back to my pieces like 10, 11 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. That's, other people, oh, that's really good. I'm like, no. I look at like the portraits that I used to draw back then, and I look at what I can do now. And, your hobby, the more you do, the more you work on your craft, the better you are. You would have been with your macrame knots. Your first macrame knots were probably all different. And then by the time you're a year or two into it, they're all even and everything's nicely formed and that. So, you work on your craft, but don't be hard on yourself when you first start out.
I think that's really important. Because a lot of people have this. Yeah, a lot of people have this block around creativity because they had a negative experience when they were at school, and now they've told themselves over many, many years that they can't paint or they can't draw, and it's not true.
Or they can't build model planes, or they can't do this.
Yeah.
Like my
They
mum
can't
said,
they can.
yeah, like my mum said, there's no such word as can't. Just give it a crack. And you just don't know where it'll take you. You really don't. I'm all in for, trying new things nowadays. And, well, I always have been. But, with passion now, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to give it a fair crack. And I don't mean just one or two times. And if it's hard, well, then I ask for help. And that's important as well. You could be doing a hobby and you don't know what you're doing. And you can't find the answer on the University of YouTube, then go to a class, go and ask for help. And, or give me a call. And that's what I do. That's an adversity that you're facing. And I can steer you in the right direction on where to ask for help and what to do. So, no excuses.
Yeah. I love that advice, though. I think often we hold back from asking for help. We feel like we're admitting failure. Yeah, but actually, people love being asked for help. If you say to them, you're so good at this, I'm trying to learn, can you help me? More often than not, people will say, I would love to help you. Let's do this together. It's a real bonding way to connect too, I think.
Yeah, and like if you relate that back to your business, that it's important to have a business coach, a business mentor.
Yes.
So don't do it all yourself. Never do it all yourself. The most successful business people in the world all have mentors. And be careful with your mentor as well. You'll outgrow them. Your business mentor won't be the mentor that you first started with. Your current one should be the one that is above you in levels. And then when you reach that level, you look for another one. So keep looking forward. And, same with your hobbies. You might get better than the person that taught you to paint. That's what happened to me. And everyone in the class started coming to me and asking me for advice. And I'm like, it's time I left this class. I'm not getting paid for this. It's time I left this class. And I went and found someone else who had skills higher than me and higher than the teacher that I was learning with. And I did that. And you keep improving. And it's the same with your business. Find someone that's got the skills that are higher than you. And when you've learnt those skills, find someone else and then find someone else. And that's how you better yourself, and that's how your business grows.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always learning. But you also talked about the news, the fact that you don't watch the news. And I also am not on the news. I haven't watched it for many, many years. Occasionally I'll be somewhere and someone will have the news on and I get really emotionally impacted by it. And I realize that's why I don't watch the news, because it does have that impact on me. But I know so many people just watch it every day. They don't even think about it. They've just got it on all the time and they're being bombarded by all of those negative messages and the anxiety rising and all of that.
I don't understand why the news is just all about negative things. Why don't they post positive stories? There are so many remarkable stories out there of positivity, and in my podcast, I'm promoting that, and I just think it's it's get rid of it. Get rid of the news, unless you're on it yourself. That's about the only time. It's like I was on the news a couple of weeks ago about bed bugs, and that went viral around the world. So out of all the media I've had in the last 12 months, bed bugs.
Bed bugs, yeah, nice.
Really about bed bugs. So, this week I was on, as you were as well, piece on Ticker News.
Yes.
We were both on that on International Women's Day, and that's about the only time I watch the news, is if I'm on it or if someone I know is on it, and then I'll go and watch the news. But if you're having intellectual conversations with other adults, they'll tell you what's happening. My clients will tell me when lockdown's happening, or when lockdowns, we're getting out of lockdown, because my inbox will be full of my art wellness clients saying, can we come back this week? And I'm like, let me just look into that. So I don't need to be watching mindless hours of the news on there. Someone will tell me what's happening. And, some might say that that's ignorant of what's happening in the outside world. And I'm like, no, that's protecting my self-care. That's protecting me. And my quality of life then improves because of it. And that is one of the key points to being resilient, is looking after what's in here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Justine. It's been wonderful having you a guest today, and I really enjoyed your presentation. We've got the links for people to download the worksheets and tips, and the links to your website, and all of those details are in the comments. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you also. We are honoured to have you as a co-author in our new book, Courage and Confidence. The links to buy the book are also in the comments below. And yes, that concludes our session. Thank you so much for everybody who joined us on the live stream, and everyone watching the recording as well. If you do have any questions for Justine, please feel free to post them in the comments, or else get in touch with her directly. Thanks so much, Justine.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.